morning and welcome back to Cityline. I think you saw on the wide shot who's on the comfy couch today. Let me tell you, she is everything, and she gives the best hugs, and she is our homegrown mayor. We're talking about Mayor Victoria Woodards, someone who I have followed and loved since she was a park commissioner.
Oh my God!
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yes,
that performance
you do.
in that performance in Wrights Park that we saved the day.
Oh my gosh! Yes, yes, we did meet because Ethnic Fest was happening,
Yep.
and we were meeting on the phone talking about gravel in a space, and the rest is history. As we say.
Yes, it is.
So before you became mayor in 2018, you served for 7 years in an at-large member position of the city council. What inspired you to run?
You know, you would think after serving 7 years on the city council that would be enough.
And for some people it is. We've seen that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But you know, and I didn't have initially any plans to run for mayor. But when I thought about all the work that we had done on the city council, and when I thought about what was coming next, you know, I'm not the kind of person you can sit around and complain and point fingers, and that works for some people. I'm one that if I'm going to complain, I'm going to come with a solution.
Yes.
And so, and even not necessarily complain, because I really wasn't complaining, but I wanted to continue to make Tacoma a really great place to live and to be able to live out its creed of being the city of destiny. So I thought, well, the best way to do that is to step up and run. And so I got off the council and spent a year running, and I'm so grateful to the Tacoma community for electing me not once, but twice as their mayor. And it is, even in the midst of the turmoil that our city is in right now, I wake up every day grateful for the opportunity to be able to try to make Tacoma just a little bit better.
And you do more than that. You and the city council make it a lot better, in my opinion. You do, absolutely do. What are some of, you mentioned you said this time in our city. So what are some of those challenges and issues that we are facing?
Anything I say is not going to be a surprise to anyone. You can drive around the city and you can see that we have a homeless problem. We have an affordability problem in Tacoma, which only exacerbates the issue of homelessness. I am not proud of where we are as it relates to violent crime in our community right now. We're not a shining star in that area as well. And then just the recovery of the pandemic. Yes. Just coming through that. So those getting people to be able to recover and get back to life, to the new normal, right? Because there is no going back to where we once were. So I think those are some of the issues that are really facing Tacoma. And I don't know if there is a community member who would disagree. They might have, I mean, obviously getting people to work and being able to make enough money, those are other issues. But when we just talk about the visible issues that people can see and that they feel every single day, I think those are the most visible issues that we're facing. And those are the issues I get the most emails about, the most calls about. And so I would say those are the biggest issues that are facing us.
And as I tune in every Tuesday night on my phone and watch the city council meetings, and you're right, those issues are something that you can expect to see our city council put a lot of heart and mind to on those Tuesday nights. And for the rest of the week as well. I mean, I think that the position that all of you are in is 24/7 because these issues don't sleep.
They do not.
As you grapple with these issues, Mayor Woodards, what are you most proud of when you think about your time in this position?
Boy, a couple of things come to mind, and I know it's really hard to try to find sunshine when people feel like it's only raining. And I think sometimes I know that community members can get frustrated by us talking about other things and not consistently talking about the problem. But I always tell people, there's got to be a little sunshine in order to get up every day and fight. There's got to be the little things that you've done that are good that give you hope that there's a better tomorrow. And that's what I believe for our city. That's why we have Chief Moore. That's why we have an affordable housing action strategy. That's why our neighborhood and community services, we're investing more money in the coming years to address homelessness. And so those are the issues, and I could name them, but there are those little things that get me up every day that say we can keep fighting. And one of those is our growing, our GRIT program, which is Growing Resiliency in Tacoma, which is our version of a basic income. And so, you know, the fact that there are 110 families that for the past 12 months, or almost the past 12 months, have been getting $500 extra a month. Wow. To help sustain them. And when you meet people like Gino, the gentleman that I met, who's a single father with 3 boys, who works, who goes to work, and this is not somebody who's sitting at home, right? This is a guy who gets up every day and takes his kids to school and goes to work and does a good job. And met him, and this $500 a month has changed his life. His son, who was failing in school, he was able to purchase a tutor for. And instead of sitting down at the dinner table every night and arguing because he hasn't done his homework or whatever, they're now sitting down at the dinner table and excited to be there and talking about other things. His son, who was failing almost every class, is now getting A's and B's. Not to mention the fact, because he could clear his head around some of those things and know that his needs were taken care of, he also has a son who has diabetes, so it pays for insulin. But what he was also able to do with a little bit of breathing room is he was able to study and get 2 promotions on his job. And, you know, so he works kind of in levels.
Yes.
So he's able to focus and study. And now in January, when his basic income goes away, he has now been able to recover that income by those promotions. And so it's exciting to know that that little bit of money stretches that far. And there's so many other things I'm proud of, but I think that makes me feel good.
I was hoping you were going to, because there are so many things, as you said, that this council and you have done to be proud of. There is a lot there. And that is that piece of sunshine we have to always remember as we move forward.
Yes.
But affecting someone's quality of life like that and giving them some spiritual breathing room.
Yeah.
What a difference it made for them. Now,
absolutely.
Rumor has it that you are president of the National League of Cities, my dear. You got some splaining to do, Lucy.
I know, in the midst of all this, I've now taken on yet another job, as if I don't have enough to do in my own city. But I decided to take on this job because I think it is good for Tacoma. I am really, I'm not the president yet. I'll be the president, I think.
President-elect.
Yes. November 19th, or the first vice president right now. But I'm excited to show off Tacoma, even in its current state. Because I want to remind us that even as difficult as it is right now, that there's not a city in America that's not facing the same issues that we're facing. I talk to mayors and elected officials across the country, and they're facing these very same issues. So I'm still incredibly proud of Tacoma, while I again, working hard to address the issues that face us, but I'm still very proud of the city. So to be able to be on a national stage, so the National League of Cities, very quickly, is a national organization that really advocates on behalf of cities, towns, and villages across America.
Wow.
And so being able to be its leaders, for me, means being able to highlight not just Tacoma, but Washington State. So it's been really great to work with the Association of Washington Cities to talk about the issues that face us, to be able to have access, more direct access to our federal government and all of its leaders, to be able to talk about not just what our country needs, but what Tacoma needs. So the ability to bring resources back to Tacoma and the state of Washington. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to continue to highlight the issues that face cities, to fight for more funding. I mean, let's be clear. We've had an unprecedented amount of funding with ARPA, with the Infrastructure Act. You know, we've had a lot of things, but to continue to advocate for those kind of funding streams to help our cities deal with issues like crime and affordability and homelessness, to be able to bring those resources back to Tacoma is the part that makes me really excited about the opportunity.
I love that. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. Gosh, it goes by so quickly.
It does, oh my goodness.
All right, so what's next for you?
3 more years right now, 3 years and a couple more months of being mayor of Tacoma.
Yep.
And I want to leave Tacoma better than I found it.
I think you've already done that.
Well, some would say yes, some would say no.
Right.
I mean, given the
bet.
fact that our violent crime numbers have doubled, we have 1,400 homeless people in our community. Some would say that I haven't, and even though I didn't directly do that, I'm responsible for
Yes,
that, and I take
that's
that
true.
responsibility seriously. So working with our chief with this violent crime reduction plan, I want to see us, when I leave, I'd love it if our numbers were below what they were before the pandemic. I'd love to make Tacoma feel safe again, because everybody doesn't feel safe. And even though we're going to see some data on November 1st, want to remind everybody, November 1st is when the chief will be coming back. Even though we'll see some good data, people still don't feel safe. Even though we have 623 housing units in the pipeline at 50% average medium income that will be underway before 2025.
Wow.
That's great.
Yes.
But I want to leave it better than I found it, and I'm going to wake up every day working hard toward that goal.
Okay, so this is my time to tell you how amazing you are,
Oh.
Missy. So 2 weeks ago, I watched the city council meeting, and it was the camping ban. Mm-hmm. And this is not the time or place for me to talk about the camping ban, but what I want to highlight is the dedication, the sacrifice, the pain, and the unity I saw on everyone's face. And the way that they came together and locked arms and said, we may not agree. We may have 3 council members who don't agree with this, but we still respect and admire, and we still row in that same boat. And let me tell you, I haven't always seen that with our city councils, but I see it with this city council.
I have a great council and a great group of colleagues to work with, and even though we disagree, there is no doubt that everyone who sits on that dais loves this city and the people who call it home.
It's true. All right, so now our time is up, so I'm going to have to hug you off camera.
I'll take the hug off camera.
Exactly, but we have much more to come on Cityline. Andrea Smith will be in the house talking about her position at Metro Parks. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.